Welcome on the channel Voices of Reddit. Today we have an intriguing story about the
She was secretly selling my perfume collection. You wouldn't believe what happened next. I have a perfume collection that I started when I was a teenager slinging burritos at my first job. Back then, every extra dollar I earned went straight into buying a new scent. It became a passion of mine, a way to express myself and indulge in the art of perfumery. Over the years, my collection has grown exponentially, and I now have over 400 bottles. Each one holds a special place in my heart, whether it's a rare find from a niche brand or a popular fragrance that brings back memories of a particular time in my life. I take great pride in my collection, and it's not just for show. I use it regularly. Choosing a fragrance each day is like selecting an accessory that complements my mood or the occasion. Friends and family often marvel at the sheer volume and variety of perfumes I own. I'm always happy to share my passion with others. I give people decants, small samples, of most of my bottles. Let them sample a spray or two when they visit, and even give some bottles as gifts on special occasions. It brings me joy to see others appreciate the scents that I love so much. However, I have a huge issue with my 17-year-old niece coming into my home under the guise of walking my dog and helping out, but secretly decanting bottles on her own and selling the samples to her friends. She must have thought that because I have so many bottles, I wouldn't notice some missing, or that certain bottles were getting massive dents in them. She underestimated how well I know my collection and how attentive I am to each bottle's level. One day, while browsing social media, I stumbled upon her private Instagram account. She had failed to set it to friends only, or whatever privacy settings she thought she had. I saw each and every post where she showcased the samples she had taken from my collection, complete with prices and descriptions. She was marketing them as if she were running her own little perfume business, using my products without my permission. I was shocked and felt a mix of betrayal and anger. Not only was she taking my property without consent, but she was profiting from it. I decided to tally up what she had taken, getting a pretty good estimate based on the cost per ounce of each perfume. Thankfully, she mostly picked the TikTok-famous perfumes like Bianco Latte and Escapade Gourmand, and didn't go for the most rare, niche perfumes in my collection, which are irreplaceable and hold significant sentimental value. However, she did snatch an entire 2.5-ounce bottle of Baccarat Rouge, which runs over $300 at most retailers. That's not a small amount by any means. She also took full bottles of perfumes you can get at Sephora, like Marc Jacobs Daisy, Burberry Her Elixir, Flower Bomb, and others. The total value of what she took was substantial, easily reaching into the thousands of dollars when considering the cumulative cost of all the samples and full bottles. Feeling it was necessary to address this issue head-on, I printed out the entire list of what she'd taken, complete with the price estimates, and handed it off to my sister, her mom. I explained the situation calmly and said that I expect to be paid back in full for the items her daughter took without my permission. I also made it clear that, given the breach of trust, my niece is no longer allowed in my home unsupervised. My sister got very upset with me, going on about how my niece is just a kid and that kids make mistakes. She seemed to think I was overreacting and that I should let it go, or at least not demand repayment. She argued that teenagers often don't fully understand the consequences of their actions and that I should be more forgiving. I told her that yes, kids do make mistakes, but this is a serious matter involving theft and deception. It's not like she borrowed a sweater without asking. She systematically took valuable items from my home and sold them for personal gain. I feel that this is a great way for my niece to learn from her actions. By facing the consequences, she can understand the gravity of what she did and hopefully not repeat such behavior in the future. Their argument is that now the money my niece was going to use for a car has to go towards paying me back. They think it's unfair that she has to sacrifice her savings for this. Frankly, I don't care. She is fortunate that I have no interest in involving the police, filing a report, or taking her to small claims court. I could have pursued legal action, but I chose to handle it within the family, hoping we could resolve it amicably. I understand that teenagers can make poor decisions, and perhaps she didn't fully grasp the severity of her actions. Maybe she saw it as a harmless way to earn some extra money, thinking that I wouldn't miss a few samples here and there. However, taking someone's property without permission I feel that by holding her accountable, I'm helping her learn an important life lesson about respecting others' property and understanding the consequences of dishonest behavior. If I let this slide, what kind of message does that send? That it's okay to take from others as long as you don't get caught? That family members won't hold you responsible for your actions? I believe that accountability is crucial, especially at her age, as she prepares to enter adulthood. Moreover, I feel deeply hurt by the betrayal of trust. I welcomed her into my home, trusted her with my belongings, and she took advantage of that trust. It's not just about the monetary value of the perfumes, it's about the principle and the relationship. I would have been happy to share my perfumes with her if she had asked. I could have given her samples, taught her more about fragrances, or even helped her start a legitimate business venture. Instead, she chose to be deceitful. My sister's reaction has added to my frustration. Instead of acknowledging her daughter's wrongdoing and working with me to make things right, she's deflecting and making excuses. I expected her to understand the seriousness of the situation and to help her daughter make amends. Her dismissive attitude makes me feel like she doesn't respect me or my property. Some might wonder why I didn't notice the missing perfumes earlier. The truth is, with such a large collection, it's easy for small changes to go unnoticed at first glance. However, I do regularly check my bottles, and I started to notice that some seemed lighter than they should be. That's what prompted me to pay closer attention, which ultimately led to discovering my niece's Instagram stories. I'm open to ideas on how to handle this. My goal isn't to punish her harshly, but to help her understand that actions have consequences. If there's a way to achieve that without causing irreparable damage to our family relationships, I'm willing to consider it. At the end of the day, I care about my niece and want the best for her. I hope that through this experience, she can learn and grow. Perhaps we can even turn this into a positive outcome by opening up communication and fostering a better understanding between us. But for now, I stand by my decision to request repayment and set boundaries to protect myself and my property. Am I justified in insisting that my niece pays me back and for banning her from my home unsupervised? Should I have been more lenient because she's a teenager? Or am I right to protect my property and teach her a valuable lesson? I would appreciate any advice or perspectives on this situation. I want to handle it in the best way possible, but I also want to ensure that my niece understands the seriousness of her actions. Family is important to me, but so are integrity and respect.
Thank you for watching. In addition to this story, we have other equally intriguing videos that we recommend you check out.